Hello, everyone, and welcome to Life with Shenita this evening. Man, do we have a show for you. You guys have watched Shenita interview person after person and things of that nature. And now it's time for Shenita to be in the hot seat. I'm so ecstatic and elated that she chose me to be her guest host tonight. This is my first time hosting, so we'll see how this goes, but I'm just going to be me. So I want to thank everyone for joining in and being a part of the show. Today we're going to talk to Shenita just about Shenita and learn a little bit about who Shenita is. We get to hear her story. We know that, she was a wife, she's a mother, right? She's a grandmother, she's an entrepreneur, she's an author, right? She's a praying woman. And there are so many other titles that are behind her name, but we are going to go more into depth about Shenita and who she is, and find out what's going on with Shenita currently and what's next for Shenita. Some of you may know that she's embarked on a new journey and has moved out of her house, and she's on her weight loss journey and things of that nature. We know that she started this podcast back in April during the COVID, April 16th, 2020. And so, she's done an amazing job thus far. So we're going to go ahead and bring Shenita in, and we're going to get this party started.
Good evening.
Hey, Shenita, how are you?
I am well, Ronita. Thank you for hosting this evening for me. I am
Yeah.
delighted to share this opportunity with you tonight.
Well, I'm super excited to be here. I count it an honor that you even asked me to do this. I've never done it before, but I'm confident that everything's gonna go well. And I'm super excited to learn more, about Shenita. I've read your bio, so forth and so on, but I want to hear it from the horse's mouth who
Yes.
Shenita is.
Yes. And before we get started, because I definitely want people to like and share the post because
Yes.
God has been good to me and I want to bless a single mom. It's back to school. And so I want to bless a single mom tonight and I'm hoping that people will like and share the broadcast. And we have a great conversation that we're going to have tonight and hopefully
Yes.
it will continue to inspire others to keep pushing.
Yes.
As we talked about earlier, the journey to wholeness, to completeness, to peace, and I'm
Yes.
grateful for that. And so I want to share some of the goodness that God has blessed me with others, and particularly single moms with children, because I was a single mom with 3 children. So I
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
journey.
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely identify with that. Yeah, I think it's important and that we, share what God has given us, that we don't keep it to ourselves because that's not what it was designed for us to be selfish and stingy and things of that nature, right? We were designed to give, for our hearts to um, extend out, not just, our wisdom, but monetarily as well. We are in some trying times right now. So, every little bit for anybody could help. So, yeah, I'm certainly grateful that you're doing that. And so I'm super excited to see who's going to win. So, guys, like and share this broadcast today. Invite all the single mothers, invite everybody, but specifically right now, invite all the single mothers so that they can have an opportunity to, embark on these funds that Shenita's giving away tonight.
Renita, you said something to me earlier about this song, My Everything. And
Yeah.
I just want to share just a snippet of it because
Yeah.
it truly blessed my soul when you said that to me. So like and share the broadcast because we're going to say some things throughout the night. And at the end of the show, I want to give away some money to maybe 1 or 2 single moms. And so we have some questions that we want you to answer to win this giveaway.
Yes.
So with that being said, we're going to share this, just a snippet. And I want to make sure that Facebook particularly knows that I don't own rights to this music, because we
Yes.
can get in trouble.
Yes. Yes.
and truly be in the hot seat. But this
Yes.
song resonated with my spirit, so I thank you for that.
Yes.
And didn't have anything. And you were the only thing. I still have everything. If I lost everything, yeah, and didn't have anything, and you were the only thing, I still have everything.
And when I listened to that, I thought about my journey.
Yeah.
And even now, if I lost everything, I still have everything because I still have God, right?
Yes. Yes.
And I'm
Yes.
sure, when she's singing that and I'm watching her sing that, I can feel it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Confident.
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. I share that video a couple times a week. When God gives me something for me, I try to sometimes share it for others, because you never know what people are going through. Like I said earlier, we're in some very trying times. Listen, we're at the end. We're nearing the end. I know that our grandmother said it, and our grandmother's grandmothers and our grandmother's grandmother said it, but listen, it doesn't matter if we're at the end when God does it, or when he ends the world, or if something just happens naturally that we pass away. It's important for us to know that none of these things on earth mean anything.
Nothing.
Knowing him and being in tune with him means everything. So
And even if we lost it all,
yes,
we know without a shadow of a doubt
yes,
that it will be restored, multiplied. You know what I mean? So the confidence and assurance in knowing that keeps me in the game of life.
yes, yes. Yeah, me too. So I'm super. I love that song, and so thank you for playing it. And I do definitely think that it's a blessing. She did that when she wrote that song, or whoever wrote that song, they did that. So
Yes.
yeah, definitely
Yes.
resonates with me. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I kind of want to talk a little bit about Shenita. So what's one thing that would surprise someone about Shenita?
Ooh, one thing that most people think that I'm an extrovert, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I really like being alone more than people think. So they will be surprised to know that I really enjoy my alone time more than I enjoy being in the presence of lots of people. This is what I have to do, right? Because God instructed me in 2020 to start the show, although I desired to start it in 2017, but the timing wasn't right, right?
Right.
And so in 2020, he said, start the show. And I was like, in my home? Like, really, Lord?
Yeah.
The first time it was going to be in a studio. You want me to go? He said, he always reminds me, this is not about you.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So I have to do this because I'm instructed to do it.
Yes. Yes.
And when I was a little girl, I remember in church when my dad and mom said, you have to be the secretary of the church. You have to do the speeches. You have to do this and that. And in high school, I took speech class and all of that. All of that prepared me for this part of the journey, right?
This.
And I didn't want to do all that stuff.
Yeah.
But it was a part of the plan down the road that I had no idea about.
Yeah. Part of the making. It's a part of the making.
Part of the making. Yes. So people will be surprised that I'd rather be alone than with lots of people.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely like that, especially um because even now, at the age that we are now, we're still in the making, right?
Yes, we
There's
are.
things that we go through in our life that we totally don't understand until we understand it. Do you know what I
Yes.
mean? And we're able to look back and be like, oh, so had I not gone through this or been able to do this, I wouldn't be able to be here because I wouldn't have the knowledge, right?
Ooh,
To
yes.
do it. So no, I get it. I'm totally on the same page with you when it comes to that. So yeah,
Yes.
no, awesome. All right.
So, yeah.
So yeah, yeah, yeah. So Shenita, I read your bio. Um, tell us a little bit about, well, tell us a lot, right? About Shenita McCants, formerly known as Shenita Scott, and now Shenita Connally.
You know, a lot of people don't know that I was a middle child growing up between my brothers.
Mm-hmm.
So I older sisters, but they were gone when we were growing up. And so I was the middle child and the only girl between the boys. And they, meaning they, the brothers, my
Mm-hmm.
oldest
Mm-hmm.
brother David, who passed away last year, graduated from high school and went off to college at Southern, just like my older sister Joyce. She went off to college at Xavier University in New Orleans. And so my parents had hoped that when I graduated, I would have taken that journey. However,
Yeah.
I was that child who went the opposite direction and got married
Mm-hmm.
right out of high school, right?
Okay.
And went a different route. Um, got married, husband in the military, traveled the world, 3 children, third baby born. 30 days after that baby was born, husband decided he didn't want to be married anymore. Boom, I'm back in Pensacola with my parents, who, when I think about all of this, they had just retired from their 36-year career on their jobs and was able to help me raise my children
Yeah.
from 1989 to 1996 when I moved to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And so when I think of Shenita, I think of my foundation. I think of, although I went left, they went right in terms of strategic plan for life after high school.
Mm-hmm.
But I think about the foundation that my parents set, which was on the word of God for us, right? We
Yeah.
grew up in a
Yeah.
Baptist church, but Catholic school all of our lives. So I
Yeah.
tell people I was a Baptist Catholic.
That's the Catholic. That's the fact.
So a little bit of both of those.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I'm grateful that regardless to the journey I took, I still had a foundation of morals and values and a desire to become something great, as I would say, not famous, but something of substance, right? And
Yeah.
so
No. Yeah.
so when I think of Shenita McCants, I think of the foundation my parents set. My mother was an amazing woman of God. I think about how she would get up at 4:30 in the morning, do her word before she would wake us up. We had a hot breakfast every morning. She would read the scripture. We would have to sit on Saturday nights and prepare for Sunday morning Sunday school. She would make sure that we all prayed around the table and took turns so that when we left the nest, we knew how to pray. I just think about all those things growing up, and we were grateful. I'm grateful for
Yeah.
that. And so fast forward, Shenita McCants became Shenita Scott. And after that, I was a single mom for 22 years. You heard what I said. I was in my house for 22 years until I met my second husband, who had lost his wife, and we became friends, and friends became lovers, and we became husband and wife, and so on until he passed away. But I remember during that journey, and this is for someone who may be single, who desires an amazing relationship with someone, whether it's a male or female. I
Mm-hmm.
remember having that desire to be blessed with a wonderful mate
Yeah.
in my heart. Like I never lost it. And prior to Winston and I becoming friends, I remember preparing myself to become a wife because
Mm-hmm.
I had dated relationships and they didn't work. And I remember, let me really get into the word and let me really prepare my heart to receive a mate and prepare to be a wife again. And I wrote down everything that I was desiring. And it wasn't like I was looking for a perfect man. but I was
Mm-hmm.
looking for a perfect man for me,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there's a difference.
Yeah.
And so God blessed me with Winston Connally for the rest of his life. And I used to when I first met him, and he was saying, "Man, you're a keeper." And I was like, "Ooh, I know he's the one, because ain't no man ever said you." Although they're trying to keep me, but when he said you are a keeper, and because I knew that I was, I
Yeah.
knew he was the one. And
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
used to always say, I need to talk to Elaine, which was his deceased wife. I said, because I have some questions about you that only she can answer, because they had been married for 22, almost 24 years.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
say to any woman out there, or any man out there who desire a mate, to
Mhm.
make sure that you are clear about what it is that you desire. So you just won't take anything that comes along just to fill the spot.
Shenita, you are saying a mouthful. You're saying a
Mhm.
mouthful. Yeah, no, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
Yes.
Um, yeah, no, that's good stuff. That's it's a whole nother conversation, but that's some
Yes.
good stuff right there.
Yes.
So thank you for
So yeah, yeah. So
that.
that's how Shenita McCants, Shenita Scott, Shenita Connally, and the journey began to life with Shenita.
So you've been through a lot, it sounds like, in this journey, right? Of
Mhm.
parenting and marriage and just trying to make it work, right? Um, what keeps you going? What's the thing or things that keep Shenita just going?
I think now, when I learned purpose, and I realized my purpose is somebody else's life, right?
Okay. 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 Mm-hmm.
And so if I am walking in my purpose,
Mm-hmm.
my life will have an impact on someone else.
Yes.
And
Yes.
God reminds me of it often whenever I'm having conversations with him about being tired, not
Mhm.
wanting to do this or not wanting to do that. And
Yeah.
so he will always say, "So you think this is about you?" It is not about you. I am using you to fulfill the work that I have for you to do. So,
Yes.
so he reminds me, don't think that it's about you, it's about other people. And so I get spanked a lot.
He's something else. I tell you, this guy we serve is something else. He will get us in order,
Yes.
by any means necessary. And that's the thing that I love about God, is that He loves us enough to allow us to go so far, and then He pulls us back and He gets us together, right? Um,
Yes.
I mean that, and we're not here to talk about Renita, right? But that is definitely something recently, just as early as this weekend, is something that you and I had talked about that he did for me. He was just like, "No, what are you doing? Mm-mm.
Yes.
No,
Yes.
what are you doing?"
Amazing in all his ways.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
someone, Tanya Fickling, God's will be done. He will put experiences in alignment.
Perfectly said, Tanya. No, seriously, perfectly said. Perfectly
Mhm.
said. So
Mhm.
yeah. So do you think, and I'm gonna go to the little hot seat, right? So do you have any regrets? So I know you spoke about, you took a different path and journey than what your mom, or what your parents expected you to do or wanted you to do. Do you have any regrets? Do you think that taking the alternate route, or taking their way versus the way that you took, right? Um, are there any regrets there? Do you feel like you would have had a different experience, or?
Can I be honest with you? And I'll go back to the previous question where you said what keeps me going. And I did say it's the purpose in
Yeah,
blessing other people.
yeah,
But when I think about, yes, this journey, and I do believe sometimes when we get on the wrong path, God still can use us. But yes, I do. And if I can be honest with you,
yeah.
I do have regrets
Hmm.
of not being obedient and not following the other path. Now, I believe God could have used me if I followed the other path,
Hmm.
right? I
Yeah,
believe that.
yeah,
There are some regrets that I do have
yeah, yeah,
for not.
yeah, 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 yeah,
And so I have to be honest with you.
yeah,
There are times, and me and God, Father God, we talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm at peace with it. But
yeah.
yeah, I've had some regrets. And that's being honest.
Yeah. No, I appreciate the honesty. I know we talked about that. That's like the most important part of life, is definitely making sure that we are honest. And, you know, let our experiences, because for me, I have regrets, but I can't let my woulda, if I coulda, shoulda, woulda, determine what my next will look like. I feel like I took an alternate route for I'll say for a reason. I'm comfortable, saying that it was for a reason, because I'm totally different. I'm a totally different person than who I was and what other people expected me to be. So, I'm
Mhm.
thankful for my journey.
Yes,
I
me
had
too.
regrets. I have regrets, but I'm
Mhm.
thankful for my journey.
Yes,
That
yes, me
that I
too.
chose.
So, and I want to make sure that I'm clear about that. Yes, I
Yeah.
am thankful for it because on this journey, the
Yes.
good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent
Yes.
has been a blessing to not only me, but to so many other people. So, had I not been on this journey, I, parts of this would not be the story, right?
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
But
I love it.
yeah, I've accepted the fact that I'm on it and this is it and I'm okay with it. But yeah, there's some things. There's some things.
Yeah. There's just some things. Yeah. Everything don't need to be said, but there's some things. So
There's
I
some
get it.
things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So April 16th, 2020, Shenita, created this talk show. What was it inspired by? Like, what made this happen?
Well, it came about because of losing my husband in 2015 and being in that situation of um, not having our affairs in order. So when 2020 happened and COVID, and people were dying left
Yes.
and right,
Yes.
and many times without life insurance, many times without anything, right? And so I'm like, okay, Lord, you did tell me I was to write the book in 2017, and I did. I hear you. I'm not doing enough. I'm doing things, but not enough. And
Yeah.
so he said, use this opportunity to share resources, to share your story. Because and I remember when I did my book signing in 2018, it said you can't have a traditional book signing. You cannot sell books and sign them. You have to have something of substance.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure that there are resources in the house for the people. So my book signing was that of a panel discussion and a um, vendor opportunity for all the speakers to have vendor tables and speak about their area of expertise as it relates to getting your affairs in order.
All right. So we're talking about this book. What is the name of your book?
Is your house in order? And many times people think that I'm talking about their spiritual house, right?
Yes.
And so when I go on speaking engagements, I'll say, we have the ministers in the house to take care of that part. I
Yes.
am here to help you take care of your literal house because of what I went through. So I am not looking to feed your spirit in that way. I'll allow your pastor or whomever is your spiritual covering to do that piece. I just want to make sure that we're thinking about our personal houses, our personal affairs.
Yeah.
And so in 2017, the book was released. And I thank God for the stories, the testimonies that lie within those pages of people who share their experiences, whether good or bad,
Mm-hmm.
in each of the areas.
Mm-hmm.
My testimony that can um, share the importance of stopping, pausing, because me and Winston were too busy living life. We were too busy doing life. We were traveling all over the place. We were doing ministry work out of the yin yang. We
Yeah.
were busy, but we should have taken a moment and paused and handled our personal affairs just like we were doing the other areas of our lives.
Yeah. I feel like people are starting to really get that, right? With COVID coming and, this generation, Generation X experiencing death. Like, I've never experienced death like I've experienced it since the pandemic. Like,
Mm,
people
mm.
passed away, people, 10, 12 people here or there, right? But millions and millions of people, lives lost, due to one virus, a little little cell, little virus. So,
Yes.
that can just affect your everything. So yeah, definitely
Devastating.
love that. And I think it is important for us to get our house in order. Like,
Yes.
we have to have life insurance. I know after my son died, my mom had policies on my children, but I was like, I need to make sure that I have policies for my children. You know what I mean? So that
Absolutely.
there's never a hardship or any of those things, because you still have to live life once your loved ones are gone, right?
Absolutely.
You do. So no, it's definitely an important thing. And so I know you've probably done shows like that where we can go back and watch, but I think that's something that you should continue to embark on, to ensure that people know how important it is to have life insurance and health insurance and just
Yes.
all of these things. So yeah.
Right. And I'm glad you mentioned that because um as a widow, and I didn't realize how many widows were in my circle, like in my
Mm,
network.
mm-hmm.
Like you know them, but you don't know them until you walk it. It's just like you losing a child. I can't relate to that. But
Yeah.
you probably have a magnitude of people who can understand that loss, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, a spouse, particularly one who depends and relies on the husband as the breadwinner.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when that changes, the dynamics changes, and you are now in a reality that things will no longer be what they were, and you will have to journey along knowing that you knew that you should have done ABC, but because you were so busy doing life that you didn't pause. So for me, the journey to wholeness, the journey to peace started as a result of being in that area of losing my spouse who was the breadwinner of our home,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes. Yeah.
And
No,
so having to live it, having to
yeah,
live without
yeah, yeah, yeah,
um,
yeah,
the
yeah,
financial resources that you were accustomed to, having to not only lose your partner, but to lose your
yeah.
livelihood,
Yep,
so to speak,
yep,
right?
yep, 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 yep,
And
yep.
so I just want to make sure people are really thinking about not my story,
Mhm,
but
mhm.
put themselves or themselves in my shoes and say, gee, what if this happened? Or when this happens,
Mhm,
what
mhm.
will my life look like? Because I
Yep.
didn't pause and evaluate and make sure that I'm talking to the life insurance agent, making sure that I've gone to the bank, because I have people in my circle who had separate bank accounts from their spouses, right?
Yes,
And
yes.
because the spouse didn't have them listed as pay on upon death, that
Mhm.
money is in probate, that money is held up. Nobody can get to it. So
I know
sometimes we don't even
several
think
people.
about,
Yes.
let me make sure that I have someone listed on this bank account. Let me
Mhm.
make sure that the right beneficiary is listed on the life insurance policy. Let me make sure that if the spouse is the breadwinner and he passes away, where does his retirement check goes? If because my husband was retired from the army, where does that check go? Does it go away? Does it continue to the wife? How do we make sure? Do we sit down with somebody at the VA? Do we sit down with somebody with the Department of the Army? What do we do? And so those are the things, the conversations that sometimes are very difficult to have, but they're necessary. So
Necessary.
you can prevent going through the roller coaster that I had to go through, right? The depression that I had to go through, because when you lose a spouse, it is already devastating itself. But if you factor in that not only did you lose the spouse, but you lost the livelihood, you lost the
That
resources,
came along with
lost
it.
all of those
Yes.
things. So
Yes.
now you can't really grieve because you are trying to survive,
Yes.
if
Yes.
that makes sense.
Yes. No, it makes 100%
Mhm.
sense. Yeah. Like, yeah, it makes
Mhm.
100% sense.
And
Yeah.
so I just want to make sure people understand the journey about wholeness, or the journey to wholeness, is a result of going through the devastating loss and trying to find myself again 7 years later.
7 years later. Yeah. So yeah, I don't want to deviate from the questions that I have here, but the number 7, right? I know you mentioned that at the
Mm-hmm.
event that you had at your
Mm-hmm.
house, which was so amazing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where you
Mm-hmm.
had the, different people there talking about their businesses and
Mm-hmm.
insurance and all of these
Yes,
things. Yeah. So, do you feel like you're on the journey to, we're in August now, new beginnings?
I am. I'm on my way there. And I feel like this year, because 7, as you said, is the year of um wholeness, right?
Complete. Yeah.
Completeness, right?
Yes. Yes.
And so with that, I feel like I am at a wonderful place in my life,
Yeah.
regardless to what takes place. Because sometimes we are, if we're shook up by something, sometimes we can't survive it. I
Mm-hmm.
do thank God that I'm still here in
Yes.
my right mind, being that I've not
Yes.
only lost both parents, my
Yeah.
son who is incarcerated in 2013. So let's go back to that number 7. So mom passed away in 2001. Dad passed away in 2008.
Mm-hmm.
Husband passed away in 2015. I want you to think about sevens, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and then in the middle of dad and husband, son was incarcerated and has been gone 8 years, almost 9 years in October. And so when I sometimes when I sit back and reflect on my journey, I'm like, thank you, God, for keeping me, for
Mhm.
walking with me, for
Right.
being with me through this journey.
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Yes. No. Yes.
And so
Yes.
we want to speak to people and make sure that they understand that we all have a journey to go. We
Mm-hmm.
all have this picture that we would like to live out. Sometimes we don't get to live it out the way we see it. It's
Yeah.
so much more about my story that I could tell, but I won't yet until I get an
Yeah.
opportunity to do a memoir. But
Mhm.
when I think about it in its totality, in its completeness to this date,
Yeah.
it's no other way that I would be here if it wasn't for God covering me
Yeah.
and the
Yeah.
prayers of the righteous. And I call the righteous my mother
Yes.
very
Yes.
much, right?
Yes. Yes.
I believe those prayers are still holding things together to this day. And she's been long gone.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's pretty awesome, Shenita. I appreciate that. So, really quick, what should a person do to ensure that their finances are in order?
So when we think about financial affairs, I think it is imperative that we sit down with a financial advisor. And let me tell you, my pastor, Dr. Luke Hall, who allowed me years ago, probably back in 2010, 11, 12, to host a annual event in February called What's Love Got to Do with It, right?
Okay. Okay.
And every Tuesday night in the month of February, instead of traditional Bible study, he allowed a series to take place every month. So money, what's love got
Mm-hmm.
to do with money?
Mm-hmm.
What's love
Mm-hmm.
got to do with parenting?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What's
Mm-hmm.
love got to do with marriage? And it was one other one. And so he allowed me to bring in professionals in each of those areas to talk about the subject matter. And I remember bringing in the financial people. And so we, as I said, we knew what to do. So the first thing I think is necessary is to sit down with a financial advisor and allow them to look at your financial picture so they can advise you on what is necessary for
Yeah.
you to do to meet your personal financial goals,
Yeah.
whether it's to prepare for retirement, which should be the case for everyone, right? When we're younger, we may take higher risk. When we're older, we may not be willing to take the financial risk that we were when
Yeah.
we were younger. And
Yeah.
so, talking with a financial advisor to look at our portfolio and say, what does that look like when I turn 65?
Mm-hmm.
Am I going to be a burden on someone? or am I going to be financial ready
Yeah. Yeah.
for retirement? So the first thing I would suggest people do is to sit down with a financial advisor to look at the financial picture, and I'm sure that financial advisor will advise you to look at your insurance,
Mm-hmm.
to look at your banking situation, to make sure that, because a lot of people who are single,
Mm-hmm.
unfortunately, they don't necessarily think about having someone listed on their bank account. Maybe because they don't trust them, I'm not sure. But what is so vitally important, even if they choose not to add someone as a joint person to the account, please identify someone that they can leave those funds to
Mm-hmm.
upon their demise, or in the event that they are ill. Who is going to handle your affairs? You may
Yeah.
not
I could not even
even
imagine.
feel.
Yeah. Because when you're married, it's definitely different. Like your spouse automatically handles, all of those things and things of that nature. But when you're not married, it is important to definitely have that, um, you know,
Identify someone.
yeah, identify somebody that can take care of your business, right? Your estate and things of that nature. So wow. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So
That's
that's what I would
good.
suggest. Make sure you
That's
talk to
good.
a financial advisor who can look at every area of your life that needs attended to.
All right. And I know you kind of talked a little bit about this, but is there anything that you can share with the audience to kind of encourage them towards wholeness?
Mhm. So when I think of wholeness, I think of not only the spiritual part. A lot of people think just the spiritual piece, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think sometimes we miss the part, um, we miss the part about the mental. And so sometimes that's quite different from the spiritual. And so to wholeness, first we have to identify or accept who we are, where we are, be okay with that. And then if we need help, seek help. So earlier I mentioned to you in 1989, my first husband decided he didn't want to be married anymore. So I was a single mom with 3 children. When I moved back to Pensacola in 1989, in 1990, I was in therapy, right? I was in therapy with my high school counselor who had started his own practice. So in 1990, I understood and appreciated the fact that I was devastated. And let me tell you how devastated I was. I remember feeling like a failure. One, that my marriage ended. So guess what? I perpetrated, I lied. When I moved back home, I wore my ring. I pretended like, oh, he's just stationed there and we're back home. But we were not together because I didn't want anybody to think we were a failure,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. No. Yes.
So,
Right.
and although I was in therapy, I was getting therapy, but I still was perpetrating the fact that I didn't want people to know that it ended because people had already doubted that it would last, right? So I didn't want them to be right.
Right. You went
You ever
right.
been, you ever
Right.
been in a
Right.
situation
Right.
like that?
Like I told you, I told you. Yeah. Oh no, definitely. I mean, and that's just the nature, unfortunately, of people. And when we're not, and I'll say that's just the nature of human nature, right?
Yes,
Because we all are like in the back of our mind when our children, we know what the end outcome of something is going to be. And you
yes,
can tell them, my mother, my parents or whatever, well, my mom, you will tell me something till I was blue in the face. And it was not until it happened. Now she is gonna be the one to tell you, I told you,
right,
Like so,
right,
yeah. So no, I
right.
get it.
Yes.
I
So,
get it. I
so
get
I
it.
took, so I took the self, um, e- res- I guess the self evaluation
Yeah.
and looked at myself in this place that I'm in right now. And I had to deal with the ish of Shenita. So the mental, the spiritual, the physical, right? The emotional, all of those pieces had to be in place. So I started thinking about my relationships in the past I started thinking about my relationship, even with food,
Yeah.
right? I started
Yeah.
thinking about my relationship with wellness, my relationship with health. Why was I reluctant to get my behind out and walk and exercise? Why was I reluctant to not want to eat right more than wrong? Why was I reluctant to drink the required water to flush the toxins out of your body, etc.? Why was I reluctant to do the work necessary to become a better version of me? Right?
Yeah.
So I had to
Yeah.
face the reality of my ish,
I
all of
love
it.
it. I love it, and it's true. No,
Mhm.
we talked on the last show that we did together about accountability, right?
Mhm.
And our truth, living in our truth. Like
Yes.
it's not easy, it's not hard, but
No,
we
it
have
is.
to do it
And
because that's where your power is. That's
exactly,
where your growth is.
exactly. And I had to learn to love me again.
Mm-hmm.
I had to do the work to forgive me for
Mm-hmm.
so many mistakes along the way. I had to
Yeah.
forgive some people who would never ask or ask for forgiveness or
Mm-hmm.
apologize. I had to get to that place.
Yeah.
I had to learn to meditate. I had to learn to spend time with myself. I had to do the work.
Yeah. And it's a lot of work.
And it's a lot of work, and you have to be willing to do it. And it's a lifestyle. So I had to really change my whole mindset
Mhm.
before I started my program with Kaiser last summer. Before I joined in September, during the summer, I had to get my mind right. You know how they say, get your mind right. And tell myself, I'm not going back and forth with you, Shenita.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Everybody got time. I'm
No,
not
ain't
going back and forth
nobody
with you. I
got
need
time.
you to make up your mind, girl,
Right.
so
No,
that
no,
you
and
can get
that's what
yourself
it is.
together.
Yeah, that's what it is. It really is a mindset. And I'm trying to get there. Like I've been trying to get there for years with this weight thing.
Mm,
It's so annoying. But I'm trusting God that He will give me the patience and endurance to
that's
start.
necessary.
I always start, but just
Mhm.
the finish part,
The,
gee, I just
yes,
can't ever
and,
get
and
that right.
yes, and let me just share just a couple of points that I jotted down. I think it's important for us to stay present in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, present in the moment. Feel what we feel, um, good, bad, or indifferent. Be
Yeah.
present in the moment. Listen to our instincts, our intuitions. That's important. Sometimes I get it right. Sometimes I don't.
Yes.
Right? We know sometimes we're risk takers, right? When we should, even at this age of 57,
You don't look
right?
57.
Seek out relationships that encourage you to be your best self. What I have learned on this journey that I'm on now is everybody is not on your team. Everybody is not for you. Everybody doesn't want you to be your best self. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Be your best self. Even if it's one person who is willing to be your encourager, to be your supporter, take that one person and be okay with that. The other one is take actions that are consistent with your core values and your sense of purpose. So we have to move one foot in front of the other at some point.
Mhm. Mhm.
Do it regardless.
I'm done with you and that one foot in front of the other.
One foot
Yes.
in front of the other. And even on the
Yes.
days when you don't feel like it,
Yes.
keep going. And even if you
Yes.
don't feel like it yesterday, okay, you got a new day. Get back on the wagon and keep moving because you are moving to a place of wholeness. And
Yes.
so just a little movement every day, and somebody will be in your corner, cheering you on,
Yes.
helping you to be your best self.
Your
Not
best self.
everybody is a hater. I happen to be one of those people. You happen to be one of those people who
Yes.
love to see other people win,
Yes. Yes.
right?
Yes. I do.
Even in our struggles, whatever they may be, we still want to see other people win.
Yes.
It
No, you're
doesn't take
absolutely
anything, it doesn't take anything from us.
nothing.
And I think that's a part of being whole. When you can truly, authentically, sincerely be genuinely happy for other people, and you're cheering for other people, you're supporting other people, regardless to what it is for you, you are on your way to wholeness.
No, yeah, no, that's definitely for sure. I
Yeah.
appreciate that, Shenita. That's definitely encouraging, just, even for me. So, yeah, I'll take that, not with a grain of salt, but, with some shoes on and get it moving,
Yes, yes.
if you will.
I'm here counting um, the days where we can walk together and support each
Yeah,
other, um, even from afar. If you're walking over there and we're on the phone, encouraging each other through the mouth
yeah.
or the two
Yeah.
mouths.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a girlfriend. She started, and I mean, this girl has been on her journey probably, I think about 2 years now. And she's just doing amazing, and she's in Cincinnati. Her name's Carla. And she started, and she is team. I mean, like every morning, it's like team consistency. She's adding other people to that. And I'm just like, wow, why can't I be like that? But I'm going to get there.
You
So
will
what's
get there.
next for you? What's next? What is
Well,
next?
um, I have some things that I want to add to my list of. I'm an entrepreneur, right? Like I work a job, but if anybody really knows me, they know that I'm an entrepreneur. So I have some
Me
things
too.
that I want to venture into, um, and I don't want to share them just yet. But
Okay.
yeah, I'm looking forward to um, a future with that's bright, that includes the family, that hopefully will include a companion. Um, I'm not sure if marriage is in the deck of cards, but if it is, I welcome that at some point with the right person at the right time. But if it doesn't, a companion would be nice. I do plan to travel quite a bit in the
Yeah.
coming months.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to that, spending time with family and friends um, until the end of the year. And I pray that God gives me the strength and the resources and everything needed to do those things I desire to do. I want to continue to encourage people first and foremost. Whatever I do, I want to encourage them to be a better version of themselves, whether they tell me that I am or they are doing it in spite of communicating that. And that's good
Yeah.
too. So
Yeah.
I don't necessarily have to know that I'm an inspiration to you. But I love when people do share that I inspire them.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
have to know that.
Yeah.
If I'm inspiring you and you're becoming a better version of yourself because of something you saw me do, go for it.
Yeah. That's
So
right.
I want to
It's,
continue the journey, travel more, speak more, and be more purposeful.
yeah. And I believe God is with you and he hears your heart and that, he promised to give us the desires of our heart.
Mhm.
So, I'm looking forward to this next for you and all that your heart desires because um, you're such an awesome person. You're such a giver, just all the way around, giving your heart, giving your mind, your body, your soul and everything to God. Like, he says, give it back to you, pressed down,
Mhm.
shaking together, and run
Yes,
over.
yes.
So yeah. So
And it can fall in this bowl. It can fall out the bowl. It can fill the bowl, fall out the
yes,
bowl.
yes, yes,
Yes.
yes. So let's share with the people, your audience, if you will, how they can contact you about life coaching sessions, right? Event planning. Oh my God, and the baking and cooking, etc. Before you share that, though, I just have to say thank you for inviting me to your house, to your event. You and those girls of yours can cook y'all heinies off. Okay?
Thank
Okay.
you.
So you
I
guys did an amazing. That food, oh my, it was so good.
Well, some of it goes, the credit goes to my cousin who's a chef, Chef
Okay.
Siobhan McCants. So
Okay.
some goes to her, some goes to us, and I like to give credit where credit is
Yeah.
due.
Yeah.
And if you noticed at that event, it incorporated other people, highlighting other people,
Yes. Yes.
because
Yes.
I truly believe sharing is caring.
Yes. It
When we
is. It is.
care, we will share.
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure.
Bottom line,
Yeah.
it takes nothing from me to share your good works. It
Yes.
takes nothing from me to share your business, right?
Yeah.
Because I truly believe what God has for Shenita is for Shenita. What he has for Ronita is for Ronita. What he has for Tanya is for Tanya. So nothing that I do, if I'm promoting your stuff, is going to affect what he has for me.
Absolutely not. I
So
mean,
you
I
saw
tell
that.
you, I did. I mean, I've gotten a few phone calls about doing some shirts
There you go.
for people, and so yeah, it was definitely sorry, it was definitely an amazing event. And just to watch the ladies and the gentlemen, just oh my goodness, it was just amazing. It really
Yes.
was. And, you know, um, I'm a giver. I am definitely a giver, but I definitely believe in supporting everybody, as many people's business as I can, especially
Yes.
in our community, right?
Yes.
And so that was good for me, not just for my business, but to be able to support others, and that always feels good. So
Yes, it does. And I like to give, a shout out to um Edible Endeavors. Um
yeah,
um I love them. They're, a franchise, of course, but they supported me in some ways as well. Also, all the people who were a part of that day's event um, support, just coming and volunteering and helping. The DJ,
yeah,
Lifestyle Smoothies,
yeah,
the cocktail lady,
yeah,
um, everyone,
yeah.
including yourself.
It was
Um,
good.
I just want to make sure that we are acknowledging what we all do. And so Tanya wanted to know some of the businesses that each of us are involved in. And Renita, you have a t-shirt business, right?
I do. I have a t-shirt business. I also have a brand, I Wear Christ, that's
Mm-hmm.
trademarked, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
where I do custom inspirational shirts,
Mm-hmm.
and along with things with my brand. And then I do, shirts for people for weddings,
Mm-hmm.
things of that nature, family reunions, just anything, may want to
Mm-hmm.
have a girls'
Mm-hmm.
weekend, a girls'
Mm-hmm.
trip, boats and things of that nature. I can be contacted at 404-210-9069, to place your order, or you can inbox me here on my Facebook page, Nita Moore. And I have a slew of other things that God has given me, but that's the thing that I'm active in right now. But it's so funny you said one foot in front of the other, because I was just like telling my cousin Sharina yesterday, we were just having a candid conversation of, because I had a crazy something happen to me yesterday that we'll talk about later offline, but and God is just like, put one foot in front of the other and follow me. Stop trying, get your hands out my pocket. Stop trying to stay close by me to my side. Put your hand on my coattail and follow me. Put
Mm-hmm.
one foot in front of the other and follow me. And so when you said that, that's why I was like, oh my gosh, Nita, I'm so done with you. Because for me, that was confirmation, that word that he gave me was real. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I'm definitely going to be doing something with that as well, the one foot in front of the other, because
Yes. Yes.
that thing was strong on me
Yes.
yesterday. I mean,
Yes.
it was real good. So talk
Yes.
to me
And
about,
I'd
yeah, go
like to
ahead.
also, add on to what Tanya asked. Tanya, I'm a certified life coach, so I do life coaching sessions for individuals, for parents, couples. Um, in addition, my daughter and I have a baking business, Just Pound Cakes and More. And the more could be anything. I came home this evening and made banana pudding that's scrumptiously delicious. And of course, I have to taste it to make sure that it's good before the customer gets it. But we do cook, and I do projects, events. I love planning events. I have one coming up the 1st of October in Pensacola, Florida, that I'm so excited about. My girlfriend's retired from the Army, and she allowed me to plan her retirement. And so I'm so excited to be a part of that. So I am a visionary. So if you have something that you have a vision about, God has given me the ability to help people visualize what it is that they want to do, and to be very creative and think of outside of the box. And so I'm grateful to him for that. That's a little bit more about the businesses, and
Yeah,
more to come.
Yes, yes, definitely more to
Mhm.
come. So you mentioned Pensacola, Florida. That's where you were born and raised, right?
That's it.
All
Born and
right.
raised.
Yeah. Yeah.
Proud.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Proud to be
Yes.
from Pensacola, Florida.
Yeah. Yeah.
Miller Street.
Yeah. This has been very enlightening. Learning more about you, getting to talk to you, getting to know you a little bit more. Um, and just really understanding your purpose, right?
Mhm.
You know, I can tell you that God has so much for you. I'm super proud of you. I'm super thankful that God allowed our paths to cross, because we have so much in common,
Yes, we do.
which is crazy. It's like just crazy, and you were my person that I needed at a specific time, right before we did the show, when we were talking about, the passing of my son. And it's important sometimes that we recognize who that person is that God places in our life and what the reason is for. Because sometimes people place God in your, sometimes people place God. I'm sorry.
God
Sometimes
places.
God places
Mhm.
people
Yes.
in your path,
Mhm.
for certain reasons, and you don't take the time to get to know them and understand what that reason is, because sometimes we're so busy trying to feel them out and judge them and things of that nature,
Mhm.
instead of taking the time to ask questions and get to know them. And so
Yes.
oftentimes we miss out on a
Yes.
blessing, right?
Yes.
um
Yes.
of a
So
person that
many people. Yes.
placed in our path, or people misjudge us, or they
Woo.
think, oh, she's this, or she thinks she's that,
Oh.
or
Oh.
this and that. And so for me, it's important to try to get to know a person holistically. Now
Yes.
you'll know the people that are just kind of like, you just like, okay, Lord
Fake.
help me, yeah, there you go.
Mhm.
But
Not authentic.
yeah, but when you are, even those, though, we have to reach those people, right?
We do. We
To
do.
let
And
them
sometimes
know.
we're assigned to them. And
Yes,
we're like,
yes,
ugh, I want to detach. And even in
yes,
this season of wholeness, as I
yes,
just sold my home after 22 years, 6 months, and of being in this home.
yes,
And I have no regrets about it.
yes,
So at this place where I am, I'm glad I arrived here when I did. And I'm grateful for this journey to wholeness. I would
yeah,
not change it. We talked about being regretting some things. Yep. And I told you back then, yeah, I regret it not
yeah, yeah,
doing some things. But where I am today, I'm grateful for the journey to this place of wholeness. I don't want any responsibility right now. I
yeah,
had it most of those 22 years. I was single.
yeah,
I don't want it.
yeah.
So I'm glad that I have gotten to a place where I can release myself from that.
Hmm.
And if it presents itself in the future, that's something different. But
Yeah.
right now, I'm free.
Whom the Son has set free
Is
is
free
free
indeed.
indeed.
And so I'm grateful and I'm
freedom is
whole.
a freedom in our mind is almost just as good as being, free
Mhm.
from a prison or something like that, right?
Yes.
Because people can be in prison and be free. Do you know
Hello.
what I mean? In their mind. But it's something about releasing the stuff,
The
becoming. Remember, we talked about becoming.
becoming.
Do you know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
Evolution,
Yes.
growth,
Yes.
not staying stuck,
Yes.
moving on the journey,
On the journey.
and not getting to a place. It's okay to get there, but what do we say? Don't stay
Stay
there.
there.
You might get
You
stuck.
might reside there, but don't
Don't stay
stay.
there. Don't stay there.
Acknowledge your feelings,
Yes.
accept your feelings, and be okay with them in the moment. Be present
Yes.
in that moment. If you're
Yes.
sad, be sad. If
Yes.
you're happy, be happy.
Yes. Yes.
If you're hurt, be hurt. Acknowledge it.
Yes.
If you're
Yes.
offended, just don't stay there, right?
Yeah.
because that's a part of, a lot of times we deny ourselves feelings, and sometimes people deny us the feelings that we may have
That's
and
right.
diminish them.
Yeah.
Stay in that moment and be present. And so I am hoping that my journey to wholeness will help others to reach their journey of
Yeah.
wholeness if they're not there. And so I'm grateful to God to be able to be in the hot seat with
All
you
right.
tonight. So
Well, that was
thank you.
awesome. I enjoyed it, every bit of it. I'm going to ask one last question, then we're going to get out of here so that I can come and get my banana pudding, which I
Yes,
hope.
and I want to make sure I identify a single mom with children
Yes.
to bless too. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
let's quickly do what we have to do. Yeah.
So let's do that. So, real quick, Shenita, and then we'll identify the mother. How can we reach you?
Facebook is a great way to reach me. Inbox on Facebook. Um, they can inbox me anytime about anything. That's a great way. Instagram, I'm Scott Connally. They can reach me there as well. My email address is scottshenita@aol.com. Yeah, I still have AOL.
I wasn't gonna say nothing, but all
Don't
right.
talk about AOL.
I
And I
ain't
proudly
saying
give it
nothing.
out to people too.
Listen,
Proudly.
if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
I'm not thinking about it.
All right, awesome. All
So
right, Shenita,
yes.
so let's see.
Yeah, so I love for we have some questions. And so I'm hoping that someone can inbox us the answer to those questions. You wanna
Yep, I'll go ahead and ask the questions. So
mhm.
the first question is, when did Shenita start her podcast? The second question is, what is the name of Shenita's book?
The first one,
The first book, yes,
because I
that's
have
right.
two.
You have two
Abiding
books.
Love is my second one, but yes, the
Yes,
first one. Mhm.
yes. All right. What city and state was Shenita born in? How many times was Shenita married? And last but not least, what is the name of Shenita's talk show? So I'll read them one more time. When did Shenita start her podcast? What's the name of Shenita's first book? What city and state was Shenita born in? How many times was Shenita married? And what is the name of Shenita's talk show that I'm hosting today?
Let's see.
Oh,
Let's
man.
see if anybody inboxes those answers to me on Instagram or Facebook, and have them all correct. There's a blessing in that. There's
Yes,
a blessing in that.
there is a whole blessing in
There's a blessing in
inboxing
that. Let's
those
just say that.
questions. Yes.
So I'm going to give them all evening, and I'm going to check it tomorrow.
Okay. All right. Awesome.
Yeah, and we're going to see.
Well, Shenita, this has been a pleasure to do. I hope I did your show justice. You know,
Absolutely amazing.
this is my first time hosting
You did great.
any,
And it won't be your
talk show.
last.
Oh Lord. So, but it was fun. Again, getting to know you. Thank you for just being Shenita. Thank you for all that you do. And you are valued. You are valued.
You are
You are
too. Thank
valued.
you so much. I
You are so
appreciate you.
valued. Yeah.
Thank you for reaching out, being visible and
Yeah.
connecting. I
Yeah.
think that's important. And so people need to know there are still good people out there.
There are. Yes,
There are
there
still
are.
good people out there.
Yeah.
As many, and I get so many fake people
Oh,
all
yeah.
the time. It's crazy. But like
Yeah.
you said, sometimes we have to pause and take a moment and get to know people.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Regardless to where they are in their life, right? Because so many times we expect us out of people and where we are today because we've
Hello.
grown, but they're not there yet.
I'm not
So
there yet.
yeah, they're not
I
there
had to
yet. So
learn
sometimes,
that.
yeah, yes, yes. So
There's
we have so
liberation
much
in that.
Yeah, there's liberation in it. It really is. There's
Mm,
liberation in love. It's all about
yes,
love. It's
yes,
all about
yes,
love.
yes.
Well, everybody, remember that Shenita and I love you, and God loves you more. And tune in next week
Yes.
to the talk show to see what Shenita has going on. And remember to like and share and like and share again. Thank you
Yes.
so much. And you guys have a great day.
Thank you for watching. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you again, Renita.
You're welcome.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.